Final Fantasy XIV Chronicles of Light collects the tales originally published on the official Final Fantasy XIV website, covering events through to the end of Stormblood and written in the point of view of an unnamed adventurer who is blessed with the power of the Echo, which allows them to experience the memories of others. The first part, which we'll be covering, Tales from the Calamity, was released to commemorate the first anniversary of A Realm Reborn. It comprises 5 short evocative narratives, each offering a deeply human perspective on the 7th Umbral Calamity and its aftermath. In this tale, where victory and glory lead, Admiral Merlwyb Blofhiswin reflects on the ruins of Cartano, the end of Bahamut's rampage, and the promise of rebuilding. This is Final Fantasy XIV, Chronicles of Light. If you are reading this, then perhaps you too walk in the light of the crystal. I myself am something of an adventurer, though my deeds are of no consequence and are surely not recorded anywhere, nor less my name. Unlike most adventurers, though, I have been blessed with a mysterious power. The power to transcend the walls of the self, those born of emotion, of subjectivity, of the very body and soul. The power of the Echo. Of the myriad known manifestations, I possess the variety that allows one to walk in the memories of others, albeit not by choice. Rather, when in the presence of certain individuals, I have found myself unexpectedly transported into the midst of momentous events, all of which I have discovered relate at least tangentially to a singular hero. The hero of the Scions and all of Eorzea, the slayer of false gods. I am sure you know of whom I write. I was aware of said hero's many accomplishments long before I deduced they were the common thread that linked these visions of mine, and realized why I had been blessed with this power, to chronicle that great journey and that still greater legacy. This collection of stories is the culmination of my work. It is the product of my travels, the hidden history I strove to unearth through careful study of correspondence and journals, as well as the secrets known only to the heart and the mind. To discover these details, of which even the warrior of light must have been ignorant, has helped me to better understand how a single shining soul could brighten the lives of so many, and provided me with no small amount of joy besides. Our hero's tale has been a source of untold inspiration to me, and it is my humble hope that you, dear reader, may find similar cause to dream in these most trying of times. Tales from the Calamity, Part 1, Where Victory and Glory Lead. In the year 1572 of the 6th Astral Era, the armies of the Eorzean Alliance and the Garlean Empire met in battle upon the fields of Cartano. In the midst of that terrible carnage, weary soldiers craned their heads upwards and looked upon Crimson Dalamud with horror as the lesser moon shattered and the elder primal Bahamut burst forth, an avatar of fury determined to lay waste to all and sundry. So ended an era, and the world as we knew it. In the days preceding and following this calamity, brave souls steeled themselves for the challenges ahead, and it was thanks to their concerted efforts that Eorzea survived to see another day. We are lost, thought Merlwyb Blofhiswin. Immured for eons and free at last, the primal Bahamut laid waste to the Cartano flats, burning Eorzeans and Garleans alike. But I will find a way. Tearing her gaze away from the bloody churn, she bit down gently on her tongue, an old commander's trick, and despite the ash-laden air, the voice that issued from her throat was as clear as the compass wind. Belay previous orders. All Maelstrom units are commanded to fall back, effective immediately. In the distance, the Admiral caught a glimpse of Archon Louisoir's resolute silhouette, arms raised in the rite of summoning. Not even the 12 can help us now, she thought with something like despair as she swung herself into the saddle. Dalamud has hatched, and no man can unbreak an egg. Give the foreign levy priority. Let the main host cover their retreat and bring up the rear. Ainzar Slafizin let go the bridle as Melwib took hold of the reins. A shard of the false moon had pierced the mail right under his arm, she saw. Blood rilled dark and steady. Her adjutant would likely not survive a hard ride. Get those adventurers to safety, she repeated. I shall send you stragglers. We must regroup. See to it. At once, Admiral. Ainzar snapped a salute. He knows me too well to waste time arguing, Melwib reflected as she urged her faithful bird to a gallop. He knows most of our runners are dead, or near us, damn it. A sharp quare brought her back to the present. Good girl, Vicky, she murmured as the chocobo sped onward through a blur of death and ruin. Fall back to the main host, Melwib called again and again until the route became a stream, then a river, flowing towards Enzar, and she hoped, safety. But there was a knot in the crowd, fighting its way against the tide until it emerged at the rear, then pushing on towards the Garlean position. Always, Melwib thought, without rancour, and spurred her chocobo forward. Always there are those who put glory before victory. Save your breath, Admiral. I mean to make those Garlean curs pay, and pay they will, Roswin spat, and Melwib was reminded of the old saying, pirates weep with their swords, and their tears are red. So many sirens. Spleeny Ebril won't sing no more, nor Anis Blackeye, nor, there you are, you liverless tin-pot bastards. A savage joy blazed in Roswin's eyes at the sight of something behind Melwib, and the Maelstrom commander touched her spur to the Victory's left flank as she unholstered her pistols in one smooth motion. Death penalty barked, and a Garlean legionnaire tumbled backwards. 2 sharp coughs from Annihilator, and more men fell, to reveal the beetle-black gleam of Magitech armour cresting the rise. It has a beak, Melwib thought with strange calm, her legs squeezing Victory's flanks of their own accord. The chocobo sprang as the Magitech cannon roared. Then Melwib was falling, the world drowning in blood and feathers, and she knew no more. The most rest I've had in years, I'll wager. Melwib awoke to a familiar sight, her quarters on the Triumph, and Ainzar, his face graven with fatigue, but alive and on his feet. How long, she demanded. Present course and speed? 2 days, Limsa, 8 knots, he answered. The Alliance regrouped in Thanalan where the alchemists saw to our hurts. They meant to keep you abed in Uldar, but I assured them that would not be necessary. We are crossing the Strait of Melthor for home. The sirens, Roswin? Ainzar laughed. Melwib could almost hear the rust in it. Command, especially the command of a retreating force, was a sombre business. The bloody executioners hauled you from the front like poolers with a bulging net, but they had no luck coaxing Captain Rosman to join the retreat. Then came the last of the dread pirate crews 3. The Kraken's arms and Cavalanes swept her up into the saddle like a bloody knight of Ishgard. Last I saw, they were trading curses. Good. Melwib willed her eyes to stay open. She was suddenly very tired, and could not bring to mind the names of the others who had been present. No matter. Ainzar would know. The retreat from Cartano. I ordered a unit be given priority. Did you get them to safety? Ainzar looked at her, his brow furrowed. Beg pardon, Admiral. My orders were to bring up the rear as the main host retreated, gathering any stragglers you directed towards us, then begin regrouping. You did not order that any be given priority over another. The coming days were too full for Merwib or Ainzar to fret over much about her odd lapse. She had taken a blow to her head, after all, and it was a trifle compared to what awaited them in Vilbrand. As the triumph neared home, they saw livid crystals bursting from Pharos Sirius, flaunting their corruption for all to see. Galadian Bay was a floating Cartano, the sea strewn with bodies, debris, and hollow-eyed survivors of the tidal wave that had scoured the coastline. Ainzar was lucky, Merwib thought as she surveyed the destruction. What size these shards to make an eighth hell of this fair anchorage? And what of we who have been spared? How can we go on when so much has been lost? I will find a way. Merwib ordered that Maelstrom's temporary command be established at Moraby dry docks, sheltered from the worst of the great wave by the god's grip. From there, the remains of Limsa Lominsa's great armada sailed with food and supplies, aid and succour, women of strength and men of compassion. Admiral Merwib slept little, but when she did, it was always one of two dreams that she dreamed. In one, she bit down on her tongue, then called out, "Give them priority, let the main host cover their retreat." In the other, she rode Odestria in the cool night, the bird crooning contentedly and the rider murmuring, "Good girl, Vicky." Time passed. Some wounds healed, others did not. The fishing boats returned to sea, and the merchants, stowadors, and cutpursers to the docks. The new Maelstrom command took shape on the upper decks. The ships of the Armada returned to their proper anchorage, and the Moraby dry docks were recommissioned as a shipyard. During those turbulent days, those who knew Merwib best, and they were not many, remarked that she had been changed by Cartano. To the scores that came to the Admiral for help, she gave no false comfort, but neither was she as hard as she had once been. She spoke instead of hope, courage, and the lost warriors who stood with the Archon on the Cartano flats. For this, Merwib won the love of her people, yet struggled to accept it. So unsettling did the thought seem to her that one night, unable to sleep, she wandered the city, finding herself at length outside an Ishgardian stable as the young birds murmured drowsily within. When Naldik and Vimiles began work on the first of the Thalassocracy's new warships, there was no question as to whom the honour of naming it would go. One fine day soon after, half the city turned out to see the Victory's keel aid. When the Admiral of Limsa Lominsa inscribed her name upon the oak with a great flourish, the cheers rolled like thunder across the tranquil waters of Galadian Bay and set the gulls and ravens flapping from every mast.